Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
1991 Tim Berners-Lee Information Management Proposal. In the bustling hallways and crowded offices of CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, a pressing challenge occupied the minds of scientists: the chaotic management of information. The year was 1991, and while digital technologies were rapidly evolving, the tools for sharing and accessing scientific data within the organization and across the globe were inadequate. Tim Berners-Lee, a physicist and computer scientist, recognized this deficiency as a critical impediment to effective collaboration. The culmination of his insights crystallized in the document Information Management, a proposal, a paper that would change the war. The immediate problem CERN confronted was the fragmentation inherent in its computing environment. Scientific data, technical documentation, and internal communications resided in disparate systems, each utilizing its own proprietary protocols and formats. This meant that researchers struggled to locate and share information. Existing solutions at the time offered limited utility. Protocols such as File Transfer Protocol, or FTP, allowed for the exchange of files, but lacked the means to establish connections between related documents. GIFA, a menu-driven system, provided a more streamlined approach, but its hierarchical structure hindered the creation of flexible, nonlinear pathways between resources. These solutions were typically cumbersome for a scientist to navigate and did little to overcome the obstacles of interoperability and scalability. The need for a more elegant, more efficient, and more interconnected information system had become acutely apparent. Berners-Lee's proposal offered a radical solution: hypertext. The term, coined by the philosopher Ted Nelson, described text that contained links to other documents. This nonlinear organization enabled users to navigate information through connections, rather than through rigid hierarchies. Berners-Lee envisioned a web of interconnected documents, accessible from anywhere on the network. This vision did not emerge in a vacuum. He drew inspiration from influential thinkers and their groundbreaking ideas. The most direct antecedent, influencing Berners-Lee, was Vannevar Bush 1945 essay, As We May Think. Bush, a prominent engineer, described the memex, a hypothetical electromechanical device that could store a vast amount of information and allow users to create associations between different pieces of data. The memex, in essence, anticipated the core principles of hypertext. Berners-Lee, reading Bush's ideas, saw the potential for practical implementation of this networked information system, leveraging the power of interconnectedness to augment human intellect. Another significant influence came from Ted Nelson's project Xanadu. Nelson, a visionary, also advocated creating a global network of interconnected documents. He proposed far more complex concepts than Berners-Lee, including versioning and transclusion, the ability to include a portion of one document within another, and the ability to link to specific points in a document, concepts that ultimately proved extremely challenging to implement. Although Nelson's vision remained largely unrealized at the time of Berners-Lee's proposal, his ideas about the potential for a unified, interconnected information space resonated and provided a vital conceptual framework. Berners-Lee's motivation was both pragmatic and visionary. As a physicist, he understood the crucial importance of efficient information exchange. As a computer scientist, he saw the potential to create a system that would make scientific collaboration easier and more productive. Furthermore, he was working within the constraints of CERN, where the internet was becoming a reality, but where the existing tools were struggling to meet the evolving needs of its researchers. The proposal responded to these needs. Berners-Lee recognized the potential of the existing network infrastructure, advocating for a standardized system that could function across different platforms and facilitate the global sharing of scientific knowledge. His proposal, therefore, constituted far more than an abstract theoretical exercise. It was a pragmatic solution, explicitly designed to address the specific challenges encountered at CERN, paving the way for a more integrated and accessible information environment. The very essence of the proposal, from its inception, was its practical focus. It was a response to a real-world problem, and its success would depend on its utility. The 1991 proposal by Tim Berners-Lee, Information Management, a proposal, stands as a pivotal document in the genesis of the World Wide Web. This document, conceived within the vibrant intellectual environment of CERN, meticulously outlined a system for managing information, anticipating and addressing the evolving challenges of interconnected digital knowledge. The proposal's genesis was deeply rooted in the limitations of existing information management systems within CERN. Researchers faced difficulties navigating a growing body of scientific data dispersed across diverse platforms and formats. The existing tools, while leveraging the nascent internet infrastructure, lacked a uniform language for communication and a system for readily linking related information. Berners-Lee's proposal offered a transformative solution. Central to this proposal were three groundbreaking concepts: the Hypertext Transfer Protocol HTTP, Hypertext Markup Language HTML, and the Uniform Resource Locators URLs HTTP. The protocol that governs the communication between a web browser and a web server established a standardized language for data exchange. HTML, the language for structuring web pages, provided a consistent format for displaying information, enabling the creation of documents rich in links and navigable elements. URLs, the unique identifiers for web pages and resources, facilitated seamless navigation and retrieval of information across the distributed net. These components, working in concert, promised a revolutionary shift in how information was accessed and managed. Berners-Lee's assertion, central to the proposal, was that hypertext offered a superior method for navigating related documents. His proposal argued that linking related information, forming a web of interconnected knowledge, would amplify the accessibility and usability of scientific data. This concept, in essence, challenged the limitations of traditional, linear information structures. The proposal further detailed the potential for distributed information management. This system, capable of existing across various platforms, envisioned a decentralized model for storing and accessing information, a radical departure from centralized databases. The proposal's core design principle emphasized the importance of open standards and universal access, laying the groundwork for a system that could evolve and adapt to future advancements. The immediate impact of this proposal was demonstrably profound within CERN. The first web server, implemented at CERN, allowed researchers to easily share data and make scientific documents accessible to a wider community. The initial web browser, developed contemporaneously, facilitated the ability to traverse this newfound interconnected network. The tangible effect on information sharing and collaboration within CERN was evident. Researchers found the ability to quickly and easily reference related material a significant asset, enabling them to seamlessly integrate their work with contributions from colleagues. This proposal's immediate influence spread beyond CERN, influencing the subsequent development of web browsers and servers. The design and structure of early web browsers, such as the Mosaic and Netscape Navigator, were directly informed by the principles outlined in the proposal. Early web servers mimicked the structure laid out in the proposal, fostering the foundation for the Internet as it evolved. Critiques, while minimal in the initial period, emerged as the web expanded. Some questioned the sheer scale and ambition of the proposal. Concerns about the potential for uncontrolled information proliferation were voiced. However, these critiques were ultimately superseded by the sheer utility and transformative potential of the system, leading to revisions and improvements over time. The enduring legacy of Berners-Lee's proposal is undeniable. It stands as a foundational document in the creation of the World Wide Web, and its influence on subsequent technological developments is immeasurable. The proposal's emphasis on open standards and universal access has continued to shape the evolution of the Internet, fostering a global information commons that continues to expand and advance today.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.